Welcome back to my kitchen if you're back, and if not, welcome. Before I tell you how amazing these granola bars are, I'm actually going to get started with the recipe because they are amazing. But the first thing we do is put oats and pumpkin seeds in the oven. So it's 2 cups of oats, 1 degree. I love this make. Very clean and glyphosate free. I could talk all day about glyphosate, but I won't. Nice thing is you can also reuse the bags, so we can put our granola bars in these bags and store them in them. And you'll never need to buy another Ziploc. Okay, so that's 2 cups of oats on a baking dish and 1 cup of pumpkin seeds. And these go into the oven at, this is a bit too much, at 160 Celsius, which is what, Fahrenheit? 325, for about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm just going to mix them around a little bit. There we go. Okay, this is the first thing, straight into the oven. The second thing we do is get the wet ingredients going, which are brown rice syrup. If you watched my bolognese video, you'll know how excited I am being able to open this. I couldn't open it yesterday. Okay, so it's a third of a cup of brown rice syrup. This stuff is really thick and sticky. I have tried making these bars without the rice syrup. I substituted it for something else, and they didn't work. So I think this also probably helps the whole thing stick together. So I'm going to put that on a very low heat, which she does warn about, because the wet stuff will stick to the saucepan if it's up too high. So I look a bit sick. I think the lighting in here isn't great. Okay, next thing is tahini, but you can use any kind of nut butter. Like you could use peanut butter or cashew butter. I'm going to stick with the recipe for once. And actually, I always stick to this recipe. I don't think I've ever made these with a different nut butter. Okay, half a cup of nut butter of your choice. And I know that there are great health benefits with tahini. I'm going to post the link to where I found this recipe. It's from mynewroots.org, Sarah Britton. She is a nutritionist, I believe, and is full of wonderful information and guidance on eating. Okay, coconut oil, 2 tablespoons. Oh. That also goes into the saucepan with the other wet ingredients. Got it all over my hands as well. And what else? Maple syrup. And we use 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. These are quite sweet. You could always try making them with less maple syrup or more. It's one of those recipes, once you have the base right, you can sort of play around with it. Yeah, put whatever you want in. Okay, they are the wet ingredients. Is that everything? Oh, hold on a second, let me wipe my hands. I think I add salt. Oh yes, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, which is not essential. So if you don't have it, don't worry, but it is nice to add. Okay, is that 1 teaspoon? Yes. Well, that seems a lot. Okay, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And a little 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, 1 2/8. There we go. So I'm going to mix this together, whisk this over low heat, as she says. This recipe, the actual name of the bars is Matcha green tea. matcha green granola bars. I have made these loads of times and I've never put matcha in. I don't actually like matcha, and it's, yeah, you could put any kind of powder, like a berry powder, acai, or anything really. You could make them pink. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, if you don't like matcha, just omit it, and they will just be granola bars. But I wanted to share this recipe because it's been so popular, and I tried so many different recipes for granola bars, none of which my kids ever liked. And then I came across this and haven't made anything else since. I think what sets these granola bars apart is the addition of rice cereal. It can be any rice cereal, but I do love these. Lovely packaging. Also, you can reuse these bags. And it's got one ingredient, which is organic brown rice. And if we are trying to be healthy, which we are, there's like this misconception that granola bars are some kind of healthy alternative to chocolate bars, but typically they're not, because the ones that you buy are full of rubbish and not good for you at all. And this is why I wanted to set out and find a recipe that is healthy. Yeah. So as I'm just letting these all, this seems very thick. Have I left out something? No, I haven't. I think I just need to be a little bit more patient and let it get a little bit smoother without sticking to the bottom of the saucepan. Okay, so once the oats and the pumpkin seeds are out of the oven, you ideally wait for them to cool, or that's what she says in the recipe. But then you transfer them to a large mixing bowl and you pour in the wet ingredients. And it's as simple as that. Now it's good to use a spatula, get all of the wet ingredients out, and also good to mix it with a spatula, because once you put the rice cereal in, you don't want to bash it up with a wooden spoon. So we have a cup and a half of rice cereal. Ooh. And then it all just gets mixed together. Like so. This is my Nigella bowl. Okay, this is looking really nice. And it's good to take your time at this stage and just make sure that it's all mixed through, because you don't want dry patches in your bars. And the last ingredient is dried fruit. You can use dried fruit of your choice. It looks great with goji berries. I like goji berries. I bought dried mango because it was on sale. And it's also a popular fruit with my family. But you could put raisins or choc chips or whatever you want. And then this goes into a tin, about 8 by 8, I think. And you just pour it in. Oh yes, I did want to mention something. I don't like to brown the oats. I've made the mistake of thinking that the oats were not cooked enough because they were still pale. And I put them back in the oven for a few minutes until they were golden. And I didn't like the taste. They tasted burnt, and the bars they felt kind of dried out. They had a different texture. So you can play around with that, but I find taking them out before they look ready is kind of the sweet spot. I put them in for 10 minutes. But you do you. Okay, and now we just flatten this all down. It's going to look like this. This goes in the fridge for about 2 hours until it's hard, and then we'll cut. So I'll see you later. Okay, I'm back. Just taken the granola bars out of the fridge. This is what you will have, a block of sticky, gorgeous granola that all you do is cut, it's kind of tough, into squares. These will keep in the fridge for a few weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but you'll probably eat them long before that, and then you get to store them in your bag. Gives me such pleasure. Okay, confession. I did make a video of these yesterday. I made these on video and forgot the audio. So we now have double the amount in our fridge. Okay, enjoy, bye.